Expect to see a whole lot of Aquaman in the near future, with the worlds of DC, previously known as the DCEU, releasing the upcoming Aquaman live-action feature film. We're bound to get a whole lot of feels, and a whole lot of promotional marketing thrown our way when Jason Momoa flexes his guns, hangs out with Mera, and inevitably debunks some lame fish reference. It's not easy being Arthur Curry, you guys. In celebration of the upcoming hype, we're taking a look at some of the variations that the King of Atlantis has had over the years, with our list of the top 10 alternate versions of Aquaman. Let's dive in. Get it? Dive? Like Aquaman? Because, you know, he's into water? Yeah? Starting us off in at number 10, Sea King from Earth 3. Beginning our list is the evil version of Aquaman known as Sea King. He hails from Earth 3, where basically all of the heroes are villains, and part of a group called the Crime Syndicate, the evil version of the Justice League. Along with the other members of the Crime Syndicate, Sea King managed to escape his own world's destruction by traveling through a portal to Prime Earth, although at the time he didn't survive the journey and died the second the portal opened. But during Forever Evil, when the Syndicate dumped all of their fallen peers into the ocean, cause I guess why not, Sea King was resurrected, and Deadman would later enter his body, with Constantine having to break Sea King's hold over Deadman in order to save him. Oh, and he also doesn't have a left hand. Instead, he's got a hook. Classic evil villain. Moving on to number 9, Holy Terror. Batman Holy Terror is one of the more interesting Elseworlds imprints. Not to be confused with Frank Miller's Holy Terror, which follows a hero named Fixer who battles Islamic terrorists. This one tells of a USA that is a Commonwealth nation run by a corrupt theocratic government. Bruce Wayne in this world had intended to join the clergy years after his parents' deaths, but then ends up finding out the truth about how his parents were killed. It was a state-planned execution rather than a random mugging. This causes Bruce to embark on a crusade to hunt down the people responsible. And during this crusade, he comes across a government testing facility filled with humans with superpowers, who have been tortured by the government's experiments. This includes a speedster named Barry Allen, and an utterly traumatized Arthur Curry, who Barry Allen approaches in his glass tank and promises that he'll help him escape. We also find out from Barry that the government tried to force Arthur to mate with a merwoman, who died upon giving birth, resulting in the creation of a half-mermaid, half-fish creature. And Arthur was involved in a ton of other gene splicing, creating aquatic creatures who constantly attempt to kill themselves in order to end their pain. Yeah, dark stuff. Moving on to number 8, Barracuda. Up next is another evil version known as Barracuda, from the Antimatter universe, who first appeared in issue 114 volume 1 of JLA back in 2005. The Crime Syndicate, which also rules over this universe, have to deal with the anti-syndicate riots across 17 different countries. One of these 20 insurgencies comes from Atlantis, where the leader of the Atlanteans, Barracuda, has invaded Florida with his army. Because obviously Florida. Barracuda definitely has a much more sinister look than his Prime Earth counterpart, donning a black suit of armor with gold highlights on his wrists and helmet. And he rides around with 2 dolphin steeds. As one does. Dolphins are evil, guys. And at number 7, Mermaid of Earth 12. Mermaid is the Earth 12 alternate of Aquaman. She's a member of the Freedom Brigade, and is a total parody of her inspiration, as is the rest of the Freedom Brigade, which also included the Patriot, Lady Liberty, Captain Swift, Princess Power, Bowman, and Mr. Might. They debuted in Showcase issue 62 in 1966. After retiring, Mermaid got hitched to Mr. Might and had a son who became known as AQUADUCK, who they forced into joining up with a team of heroes known as the Inferior Five, a team made up of all of the Freedom Brigade's kids, who were quite incompetent at fighting crime. Mermaid would go on to become a teacher at the Academy of Superheroes, but alas, that's all for Mermaid. Earth 12 was erased from existence after the Crisis on Infinite Earths, along with all of the other characters and stories that corresponded with that Earth. I mean, tough luck? Is it really that much of a loss? Moving on to number 6, AQUADUCK. AQUADUCK hails from Earth C-, the home of the just a lot of animals. What's that, you may be wondering? It's the JLA equivalent in Earth C-, where all of the superheroes are, you guessed it, anthropomorphic animals. Essentially just a lot of animals, and the series that it originated in, Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew, are a fun little parody of DC's superheroes, published by DC themselves. The first time they were mentioned was in the New Teen Titans issue 16 back in February of 1982, and their first appearance came a month later in Captain Carrot and his Amazing Zoo Crew issue 1. AQUADUCK is the amphibious member of the group, the world's greatest swimmer, and also a muscular duck who wears basically the same uniform as the original incarnation of Aquaman. He would first show up in issue 14 of Captain Carrot in April of 1983. Moving on to 5, AQUAWOMAN of Earth 11. A female Aquaman. Aptly named AQUAWOMAN, of course. Hailing from Earth 11, this hero is not only the Queen of Atlantis, as expected, but also a member of the Justice Guild and the Justice Incarnate. Working with the other members of those groups, all of which who have inverted genders, she helps in the battle against the Gentry, a group of powerful beings who are led by the Empty Hand to try to take over the multiverse and make everything within it the opposite of natural. Not pleasant stuff, but Aquaman agrees to join the war party and even makes sure to gloat about how the strongest native life form on Earth 11 is in fact her. Moving on to number 4, KIKUCHIYO. KIKUCHIYO first appeared in JLA's Shogun of Steel in 2002, and also died in that same issue. For context, JLA's Shogun of Steel was one of DC's prestige one-shot Elseworlds imprints. The story behind it was rather than Superman crash landing in Smallville after Krypton explodes, he lands in 14th century feudal Japan. He grows up and is named Hoshi, and is eventually convinced by a group of warriors that he should join the revolution against the oppressive Shogun of Steel. KIKUCHIYO is one of those members of the resistance, along with versions of Flash, Hawkman, and Batgirl. He's well acquainted with the sea, and impresses his comrades with how much distance he covers when swimming. Also, side note, if the name KIKUCHIYO sounds familiar to you, that's because it's the name of a character from Akira Kurosawa's 1954 film, Seven Samurai. Moving on to number 3, ORIN, from the Flashpoint timeline. The Flashpoint timeline has many an alternate character within it. Long story short, Barry Allen wakes up to discover that he's traveled to an alternate timeline in which the Justice League, Superman, and himself do not exist, among many other changes. ORIN is Aquaman's alternate. Now in this timeline, ORIN was brought back to Atlantis when he was young because of the death of his grandfather, ORIN being Aquaman's, real name. Since he was brought back, he would never learn compassion from his father or stick with the name Arthur Curry. His father was killed by Atlantean agents upon him being retrieved. Adult ORIN would wage war on Wonder Woman and the Amazons after Diana's mother was killed on Aquaman and Wonder Woman's wedding day. And later it was revealed that Diana had actually been the real target. Ugh. Diana would then kill Mera for retribution. Eye for an eye, or I guess. No, there's no fin for a fin joke there, is there, friends? Moving on. In at number 2, Earth 2. Earth 2 is the designated Earth for all of the original Golden Age DC heroes. So back when the multiverse was created, DC decided, for clarity's sake, in order to differentiate their old retired heroes from the new incarnations of them, like the Silver Age Barry Allen versus the Golden Age Jay Garrick Flash, the old Golden Age heroes would exist on an alternate timeline called Earth 2. This includes the members of the Justice Society of America, and those heroes whose careers started prior to World War II. It's gone under several different variations over the years in terms of continuity and what other Earths it's been combined with, but all in all, Golden Age heroes live here. This also includes the Golden Age Aquaman. This Aquaman was not a true Atlantean. He was the son of a human scientist who had given him the ability to breathe underwater, along with super strength, and well, that's about it. His charm with fish was just solely based off of his regular charisma. Weird. I mean, I guess that's sort of where you can blame a lot of the really bad Aquaman jokes on. Damn you, Golden Age Aquaman! So his dad, who was said to be a famous undersea explorer, had lost Aquaman's mother when Aquaman was a child. So to cope, he focused all of his energy on what he believed was his discovery of the lost kingdom of Atlantis, leading him to train his son to thrive underwater. Aquaman also temporarily adopted the secret identity, Mr. Waterman, which clearly isn't conspicuous at all. Also, he could enroll in college. What was his first name? Moving on to number 1, The Drowned. The Drowned, aka Bryce Wayne of Earth -11, is one of the newer additions to our list, and technically she's not a true alternate of Arthur Curry, but rather an alternate of Batman, heavily inspired by his alternate in Earth -11, AQUAWOMAN. But more on that in a sec. First appearing in Dark Days, The Casting issue 1 in 2017, Bryce Wayne played a major role in the Dark Knight's Metal story event, in which we saw various different alternates of Batman come out of the woodwork, all of which were amalgamated in some severe way with another Justice League member. Bryce Wayne, on her home Earth, was a crime fighter who was in love with a man named Sylvester Kyle. When Kyle was killed by metahumans, Bryce lost her and decided to go on a revenge killing spree, murdering every single metahuman she came across in order to avenge him. 18 months later, she had killed all of the superpowered beings on land, and that's when Aquawoman of Atlantis showed up from a self-imposed exile. She promised peace. Bryce didn't buy it. Long story short, the two of them fought after Bryce refused to trust her, and killed Aquawoman with her own trident. Bryce then decided to take over the sea since her victory had caused Gotham City to drown, and had flooded a large portion of the world. Bryce then performed surgical and genetic procedures on herself, including biochemical augmentations so that she could be as deadly as any Atlantean under the water, and so that she could have hydrokinesis just like Aquawoman. She also designed her own army, creatures called Dead Water. All in all, this character is Bruce Wayne's intellect meets Aquaman's abilities, all wrapped up in a woman's body, and is pretty darn terrifying too. Alright, there we have it friends, which of these alternates were your favorites? And which ones did you hate? And of course, which ones did we miss that we should include on our list next time around? Give us a shout and let us know your 2 cents and whatever else is on your mind in those comments below. In the meantime though, if you guys dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and subscribe while you're at it if you'd like to hang out with us some more and chat comics. We even have a nifty little playlist currently flashing on your screen right now for you to check out for more DC videos. Thanks for watching everybody, I'll catch you all in the next one.